And we are live with the first semifinal game of the day, featuring Moxies taking on what seems to be a chat favorite, the Papis here, but Moxies already going for these first few lock-ins, immediately following their bans, and that's a Serqet picked up as I look towards our production screen, and I'm a little bit ahead of you guys, so I'm going to slow it down and say, Target, how are you doing on this fine, well, afternoon now?
Quite well, just trying to catch up to picks and bans as always.
Well, luckily, I'll talk them through this one. It looks like we'll see Sun Wukong and a Thor banned out on the side of Moxies. Meanwhile, the Papis looking towards a Giannis and a Khepri ban. I think you can keep Khepri right there for the whole day, Target.
Well, I mean, we did see him one game, and the one game we played, he did lose. He did lose, so there is that.
Granted, Biscuit played an incredible game.
Well, I'm saying they were able to play around him, was the point.
Oh, yeah, they played incredibly well around him, and now we're going to see a Serqet come out for the second time today on the side of Moxies. Meanwhile, the Papis locking in a Geb and a Nuwa, so showing the makings of a strong teamfight composition already.
Definitely, and now that we've caught up to the players, things will be a little bit easier to do here. So, Moxies came off of a very, very good win. Admins did want to point out to me that Wlfy did quote-unquote feed. He died right towards the end of the game. I believe he actually died to the Titan. But, you know, I was informed that he was the only person on his team to fall. They had something like 20 kills and 1 death, and because it was him, he drew the short straw. But,
I mean, just like every other Wlfy out there, you gotta be a feeder to really win.
Ooh, shots fired. Anyways, with that said, though, we do see Poseidon coming in. Poseidon played last game by Wlfy. He did do relatively well on it, something like 20,000 player damage. So there's that.
I mean, the Mox is coming off of an incredible game, too, so really have to talk about how do you think the momentum's going to affect the Moxies coming into this game as, well, from what it sounded like, the Papis actually played a pretty solid game coming in this one as well. I don't have the statistics for that one pulled up right now, but either way, Moxie's still coming off with an incredible bit of avalanche pressure here because they really steamrolled through the last game, as we'll see a Wheelix banned out as the third ban from the Moxies, and it looks like a Medusa from the Papis.
Indeed, it'd be interesting to see. You know, I understood that maybe they had I don't want to say they had difficulty closing the game out, because they did win still at sub 25 minutes, but at the same time they had immense pressure throughout the entire game, not dropping a kill until the very last push. So there is that to consider as well. That said, over to Warchi for his pick. We still don't have a solo laner or a jungler yet, so we may see a pickup here for someone else, and then have Perilla picking up Warchi's last pick, and we are going to see that come through here as Bastet does get locked in.
With how popular Osiris has been in EU, well, in general, I wouldn't be surprised to him coming here, but we'll see Fenrir locked in, likely to be that solo lane, and also see a Serqet solo lane for the second time today, but I don't think we're going to see 2 of those in one day, and Fenrir makes sense as that solo lane assassin-y bruiser who is a complete monstrosity if he wants to build a little bit of extra tank items, and still has some very high bases on his damage, especially on that Brutalize, which does exactly as the name implies, and Neith, another lock-in here, very, very popular in EU today. In fact, I think we've seen her at least once every game.
No, we had one game where we didn't see her, but
yeah, one game where we didn't see her.
Or no, 2, excuse me.
She's been one of the ADCs of choice.
Common. And she's popular, she's safe, she's got a good global presence, and it's good for her to rotate around with, but at the same time, she doesn't have the most power late game. Definitely, you know, still a good tower killer, etc., but she's not the nuker that you can see late game like Rama or Hoyi or or
Hell for that matter.
Speaking of late game nukes,
locked in as the Papis solo later here from the looks of it. Yeah, giving over to Warchi right there. Warchi gonna be playing out some hell here, and well, since the descent of Weakening Curse, we've seen hell begin a rise right here, and I like where this team comp is going from the Papis right here. Lots of damage on the hell, and in the solo lane, they can actually keep her quite safe here, so this is going to be an interesting one to see.
Here's the big thing, is Fenrir would shut down most of Warchi's characters due to you know, their dash, etc. And so well, Fenrir's going to jump on you no matter what. It's hell, so she can at least provide some anti-CC for herself. Yes, there is anti-heal on Serqet's ultimate, but if Serqet's ulting you, you're in trouble either way, even if you can't heal it. So go for it. You know, go for that just counter nuker. And
not to mention, Warchi's drawing away fire from a Serqet ultimate. If you can pull a Serqet ultimate away from somebody like your Rama, or your new Wa even, you bought a lot of safety for your team and some heavy-duty damage dealers, so even if you're not able to pump out those crazy heals, those insane levels of damage on Hell once you get towards that late game, because you get targeted out by Serqet, you have so many other threats on the side of the Papis right here that it's going to be a difficult one to shut down here, but luckily for them, Moxies have a lot of threats in team fights as well. You have the Athena for the engage, you got a Fenrir for those leap stuns. Poseidon is one of the kings of those AoE, and even those miracle comeback plays if the Moxies do end up behind. So their team comp is no slouch either.
No, they're certainly not. And both of these teams are incredibly powerful in both players and in characters. I'm looking forward to it. Moxies versus Papis. I'm going to give it to Papis if you can make it to late game. Problem is that Moxies have some mid and early game power spikes that I just don't know if the Papis will be able to handle, especially if the Moxies go very aggressive in the first 5 levels or so, maybe even up to level 8. But I think that if the Papis are allowed to make it to level 8 or 9 unscathed, then they can just start to run away with it.
I mean, we've seen a lot of scrappy teams today. Everybody seems to love fighting, and we've only seen one very early in game, and in this case, I have to say the Moxies have a good setup for an early invade, but it's going to be up to them target, and it's going to go either way, I'd say, from the champion select.
Definitely. So with that said, though, we do need to cut to the Be Right Back stream. We'll be back in about 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is the semifinal matchup between the Moxies and the Papis. We'll be back with the action in just a moment. Stay tuned. All right. So, as I said, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
2 minutes, so I lied a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, short duration pause right there, luckily. So we're back into the action quite quickly here, and I don't think anybody's complaining about getting right into the fights with the Papis and the Moxies right here. So, I mean, with how much we saw the Papis scrap last week, we can expect a good one. And the Moxies, they've been real showstoppers themselves, actually taking away the first seed, I believe, and pulling off quite a few upsets, actually.
Moxies did do quite well last week. I'm not sure if I necessarily call it an upset. They had a very, very solid path the way through. And then Papis did fall to Illusion, actually, who the Moxies just did beat out. So, Papis making it a little bit further this week and trying to... No, I don't want to call it a redemption story because they certainly did well last week, but at the same time, we all know that the Papis are looking for first place finishes every week, as are Moxies and pretty much all of our contenders. I'm pretty sure want number 1, but of course, when you have 40 teams,
I mean, only 8 make it to the next stage.
Exactly.
Only 8 can make it onto the next stage. So, especially in these top 16, these games become so much more crucial for these teams. These seeding points for first and second place are so much higher than the third and fourth place matchups here. So, even though you get to go into that third place matchup, even if you lose here, you really, really want to win this game because those seed points for second place are juicy enough to warrant they're going nowhere near third place.
First and second, huge. And we are going to see briefly talking about start, we are going to see Perilla and DavidArnaiz on your Rama and Geb from the Papis. We'll be doing this mid-camp start that has been dabbled in, while we do see AlexMC, Dheylo, and Warchi doing a bit of a funkier try-start over on the speed buff, which means that MC on Nuwa won't be getting her her power buff, until she and Dheylo go over and do it, which works out. Dheylo will be spending a lot of time in the jungle, as the jungler will be spending a lot of time with his mid laner, so that's good for them. That said, they will be losing a, they get one camp, but the mid laner will not be getting it. So also, somebody's hearing some rattling on your microphone, so I don't know if...
There? We'll look into that and try to make sure it's not an issue, but yeah, it won't be an issue by the time the actual team fights start, hopefully. So, do keep an eye on that, and I will try to keep an eye on it as well. So hopefully, everything's sounding good so far?
I think something we heard a little bit. It might be your push to talk button. Anyways, we are going to see some Pokemon on solo lane. Ducky and Warchi. Ducky actually winning the trade in terms of leveling, but Warchi, he's a hell, so we can heal up, and doing quite nicely there. Warchi getting very, very aggressive here onto his opponent. And I like this decision from Warchi. He's doing a Breastplate of Valor rush, so that way he can provide some defenses for himself up against Ducky.
I mean, he's still going to provide some very, very potent base damage once he levels up his 3 a little bit. And as you see there, Ducky gets absolutely shredded by those. Warchi with a little bit of protection, and if he goes through the Breastplate of Valor, immediately has that CDR and some extra mana for himself. So Warchi's going to be almost unstoppable. It's going to be a completely unstoppable juggernaut in lane without jungler intervention here. So it's going to be a noodle fight, except instead of pool noodles, you're rocking Super Soakers on the side of Warchi right there.
I mean, and to be fair though, Ducky's hitting quite hard as well, so I don't want to take anything away from him. That said, it's a lot of damage and sustain coming up from the help. That said, FleuryQ is here just to help Ducky clear out the lave a little bit. Nobody's level 5 just yet over here. Ducky just now hitting at Warchi. A few more minions to go, but I think Ducky is looking for a gank opportunity. He leaves, or maybe not a gank opportunity, but the call opportunity of, you know, Solo's MIA careful call, which then causes the Papis to play back a little bit, etc.
And that's all the best I can do right here is Ducky actually going to jump onto Warchi right here, but Warchi, even though Ducky's level 5, showing no fear here, so he's just going to trade back, heal up, and come out ahead in the trade ever so slightly here. Otherwise, across the map, realistically, we're going to see both teams kind of play it even, as both teams are really looking for these more mid-game level power spikes, and especially Wlfy on Poseidon here. He's spiking just about now that he's got that Kraken online, and the Papis is going to play this quite a bit safety as TheAlexMC. Moving back will secure a bit of back camp farm, and we can expect to see them play a bit more back here versus Poseidon until, realistically, one team finds a way to really catch their major win condition. But since we have actual time to talk about that target, what do you think the major win conditions are going to be for both of these teams here, as we didn't really get to touch on that all that much at all during this tournament?
I think that the Moxies, in terms of their late game, very good late game power out of Poseidon and Serqet, but at the same time, I mean, Neith is good, and Athena's a certainly passable Guardian late game, but at the same time, they're very much a mid-game team composition here. I think that if they can win the game before 6 slots, if they can win the game even before level 20, I think that's great for them. The Papis, you've got, short of a Bastet, everyone is super strong. Oh, right, speaking of mid-game.
Yeah, speaking of mid-game, we've got him going up in the air as the Kraken already came out. DavidArnaiz right around the corners. We're going to see a crash landing from Athena right into a Serqet. Oh, first blood going over to the Moxies right there as FleuryQ, the one to secure it, but a flank from Warchi coming through. Wlfy in danger. The resist debuff going on to him here is Dheylo looking for his way into the fight. Warchi getting shredded though. He could fall here, but a quick get shield. Well placed by DavidArnaiz, will buy his life. Wlfy trying not to feed that one kill. Dheylo leaps over right towards the tower, and there we go. A quick cat scratch, and a little bit of fever later. We'll see a kill going over Dheylo's way. So a 1-for-1 trade, but the Moxies get first blood.
Indeed they do, and, you know, good invasion. And as I was saying, the Moxies have a lot of power in the mid-game. I don't think that they necessarily have as much late game as the Papis do. I mean, we just saw right there the Papis were able to turn around relatively nicely, and that's only going to get stronger. That Geb shield's only going to become bigger. That Bastet damage only going to become larger. Speaking of damage, those FleuryQ taking down to half health very, very quickly. And then, of course, Hell just becomes huge late game. All of her abilities scale incredibly well. And when you're in a team fight, there's no such thing as getting ganked, because all 5 of you are already there.
Yeah, that was more or less a small skirmish that turned right into a major team fight early on in the game. I'm a little surprised when I saw one kill walk away from this, but across the map, there's at least somebody on every team hitting a major power spike right now. We got Dheylo on the side of the Papis right here. Warchi, they could be caught in a bad spot though. Kraken taking everybody low. Warchi especially, but a Geb shield will buy time. We're also going to see the ultimate from Neith flying on through, but Warchi getting shredded and slaughtered there. Serqet poison spreads all over the place. A double for Fleury. Looking for more though as TheAlexMC targeted out. A leap over, not landing. Ducky still looking for the flank is good. Wlfy will find him, but FleuryQ gets his triple kill on Serqet. And what a start to the game as the Moxies looking huge here. 4-0 on the side of FleuryQ right there. And the man earned that kill with that poison spread right there.
He really did. And Zigox there also, solo or dual lane, he was able to push Perilla back, then ulted over, which helped them get that kill there, giving him assist, that's great. And then pushed an entire wave into that tower, as well as taking that tower down to about a quarter health. And he's a level ahead of Perilla. He has a good wave of stacks on top of him, sitting at 13 to the 8. Or 9. Okay, fine, he caught up really quickly off that last wave, but you get my point. He was ahead. And he's still sitting not too bad, poorly, especially because he has Bluestone. Something to note, Bluestone Pendant actually could have gotten him the kill on the Hell over in the other lane, because his Bluestone is
it was a poison tick. It was a poison tick from Serqet, I believe.
No, I'm saying, but it could have stolen it.
Yeah, it could have. It could have, but even then, the poison tick from Serqet got that last kill and ended up spreading to everybody in that tight corner there. And unfortunately, the Papis, trying to be aggressive there, bit them completely on the wrong side of a fight. So they got to look out for these engagements from the Moxies a lot more. Moxies, unfortunately, have that much stronger spike here. Ducky actually for a fight on the Warchi here, and he could find a good one. Neith also coming through as well as a crash landing from Jacob, who will secure the kill on the Warchi. Moxies not going to let up, but Ducky going to eat the bad end of a new wall.
Yeah, Ducky, actually, you can see him. He's like, okay, I'm going to start backing right after it's done. Like, haha, whatever, I'm fine. Nope. Nuwa sitting at level 8, got her tier 2 boots online, so she's got some damage. Not a lot just yet, but still, it's enough that it hurts. And I think that's a little bit more than hurts. So 6-2, though, in favor of the Moxies. This is just, it's rough right now for the Papis. Papis sitting behind, but we've seen them come out from behind before. And if there is a team composition to do it, this may be the one. You know, again, Rama, Geb, Nuwa, Bastet maybe is the weakest link there, and that's really only a mid-game weakness, because quite frankly, I think even late game, the cats can always do something. Bastet can always split push, the cats can soak some damage, they at the very least can apply slows, because Hog is not as popular either now. So, really overall...
One of the things I could say about the cats, like you said, a lot of things are just called that extra bit of lifesteal for the ADCs, but I have to agree with you here. Those cats are amazing as body block tools if used that way in the late game. Like, it is incredibly easy to get accidentally boxed in by those.
Oh, I know,
Like, we've all been on the bad end of getting boxed in by Bastet cats at some point in playing Smite, so I think we can all sympathize with that happening to anybody in this game, so you've got to be on the constant lookout for that, and even like me killed off by a quick AoE, in these late game team fights, especially with the high damage that the Papis have, if they make it to that late game point, because the Moxies are doing a great job of leveraging their power spikes right now.
I think some of that also does it's new words there. It does come off the back of the aggression of the Papis. The Papis went in for that last fight. They went in. The Papis tried to steal away the blue buff, and because of that blue buff attempt, they all died. We're going to see ultimates coming out for days. DavidArnaiz in trouble, but beautiful Geb capitalism right there is going to take them, or slow them down, though he does fall. And now we're going to see re-engagement coming out here from the Papis, trying to get something. However, Fenrir is looking for to keep Warchi out of the fight. And now we're going to see FleuryQ really well. FleuryQ escape really good on AlexMC. Is going to get one kill. Can they continue the chase?
How's Warchi still going? He's got so much in his bank. He was so wounded, took out so much damage, but DavidArnaiz was the bait, and he completely got what he wanted. A slow and a shred on the Ducky, but Ducky has the leap in his pocket here, and once again, the Poppy looking for a buff here. I think you have to agree with your target. This game is far from over here, and even they've got the spikes and they're abusing them. Moxie being abused right back by the Poppies, and they got suckered into a great 4-man Cataclysm and a lot of AoE follow-up from the Pappies, and well, they gained a good rep for being incredibly scrappy last week. Let's see how this one goes, as now the Moxie ready to put a whirlpool beneath their feet. I'd love to see this game keep going all the way, though.
Definitely. I think that could have been a 2-for-1 trade there in favor of the Moxies. Or actually, yes, 2-for-1. Excuse me. If they had been able to, rather, if they had ulted, period, be a different person. Because they ulted Warchi. Warchi's fine. Warchi's in the back line, and Warchi just heals up a little bit. Sure, he burns down some mana, but he's fine. If they had ulted DavidArnaiz sooner, he couldn't have Cataclysmed. If he hadn't gotten the Cataclysm, then he wouldn't have been able to get off some of the damage or the crowd control that allowed the Poppies to re-engage successfully. Possibly.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Minor things, but at this level, I think that is the possibility of what made that fight end that way, was that Neith ultimate hitting the wrong person.
And that's really unfortunate here, and I have to agree with you. They should have focused on DavidArnaiz a bit better there, but like I said, hindsight is 20/20 in these games, and especially once we've got the full view of everything. As Warchi once again getting caught out here, Neith ultimate finding its mark, and Zigox will actually take on Warchi right there, and they've been completely coordinating these JacobHL and the ultimates coming out from Zigox right there as well.
Moxies
So,
the Gold Fury!
Moxies gets the Gold Fury as well while I'm off talking. Sorry, everybody, it's FleuryQ now in the middle of a fight for his life. A well-placed cracker from Wlfy will tear Dheylo so far down, he knows he's dead. Athena joins the party, and JacobHL will take them to fight right there. So, a great steal away from the Moxies. Gonna do wonders for their score right there. They're 4,000 gold in the lead now, 3.6k action, 9-3, 11 minutes in. They finally take the major advantage of the game.
So I liked the Gold Fury call from the Poppies. It was, okay, they're focusing on solo lane, they're going to kill Warchi, fine. I think that they thought there was a little bit more of a rotation coming out that way, but there wasn't, which is fine. Again, you make the call a little bit on the early side, and then some things just don't happen. But what occurred is the perfect rotation from the Moxies saying, hey, are they checking Gold Fury? check topside. And so he rotated up above them and towards the Papis' safe side of the fight. And because he came around to the side where they had pulled the Wlfy 2, all it took was a Spirit Arrow, and the Papis were in the middle of bursting. And the Spirit Arrow happened to be the last bit of damage that hit the birdie, and the Wlfy fell.
It was just an incredible series of events, and it worked out very, very well for the Moxies. So now sitting about 4,000 up, they're in a happy position. Ball now in the Papis court for them to respond here. Moxies doing what they can to keep the pressure on their side of the court, though. So Moxies definitely just try to keep up this pressure here. They've got a good lead. They've still got the spikes, and well, now with that gold lead, they can abuse it a little bit higher. As Wlfy starting to become a complete monster with his items here. Going to be rocking out Krakens here. Zigox in trouble. Backflips into the danger zone as Nuwa goes skyboard. Shards going to land, but Zigox still had the reduction. However, that was hand to kill over to Perilla right there. Now the Kraken comes out. We're going to see a quick escape as he goes skyboard. Perilla needs to abuse this time as he can, but FleuryQ waiting for when he lands. The roll is not good though because Wlfy waiting for the kill, but Dheylo scratch putting the pain to him now. Nuwa trying to find the stun, but Wlfy only getting caught by a single shot of damage from the shard right there. Now they need to play this one safe as Dheylo. Unfortunately, I need to go yell at somebody really quickly. So, Target, take it away as I block somebody on Steam.
Gotcha. All right. So, anyways, while we are sitting here, Poppy's continuing to try and push down this left-hand side over on the solo lane. Ducky's actually in a bit of trouble. Warchi trying to chase, but again, Hell doesn't have a whole lot of chase potential. Is actually going to see Wlfy turn back around and try and return the damage. Warchi is in trouble. It does need to try and apply that cleanse. Does not, but that's okay because he got the kill on a Ducky, which I think is all that Warchi cares about there. Warchi is out of mana, however, so if somebody was in the area, he'd be in trouble. However, all global utility from the Papis that could get over there is now done. We see 4 members of the Moxies splitting that back side, or that bottom side Harpy. So a little bit nervous here from the Moxies as we take a look at the graphs really quickly. 4,600 XP now in favor of the Moxies, down from almost 7, and gold delta 3,400, down from the almost 5 that it was not too long ago as well. So Papis bringing themselves back in, and as I've said before, if the Papis are able to stay equal or not too far behind, and they can make it to the late game, they will do great. I like the decision, speaking of, you know, making it to the late game, the Iqbal on the Rama is a later game character than Neith, definitely, but also that Iqbal, he can trade out later, but for now, it's worth it to try and pull back Neith and try and get her back under pressure. Sitting at 1-1 and 1 on Rama, 1-1 and 2 on the Neith is very, very solid. And now I think we're going to see another gank coming out here from Serqet. There we go, ultimate coming out from Ducky with that Ragnarok. Going to put Warchi under tower. Warchi is trying to disengage. He's just going to run out the bottom side while we see 3 members continuing to chase. He's going to see the Serqet ultimate as well. So that's 3 ultimates used for Warchi to finally die. But that's a 4-man rotation.
All he could really do there was buy time in the 4-man rotation. So Moxies actually going to get the kill there. Took out quite a bit of pressure though, and Warchi not really giving up too much of that other than a kill. And at this point, he's 1-4-2, so he's not worth the most in the shed. But however, the tower on his side is worth a pretty penny right now. However, we're going to go to the point as well where that tower pressure around the Fire Giant side will start to mean more and more, as we've seen some early Fire Giants in this Challengers Cup target.
We've seen some relatively early ones. Something to note, though, is that that's actually not the first tower of this game. As that was going on, we saw, once again, Perilla being forced to back, and then immediately followed up by a Neith finishing off that tower. Zigox is starting to run rampant over here in terms of being allowed to do what he wants to do, not necessarily, you know, kills or anything else like that. Zigox actually now in trouble as Perilla and AlexMC blow him up. Rama going up into the air. Can he get the kill? There's 1, 2, does miss. Does a 3rd one hit? The 3rd one does, and he does fall right there. Whirlpool, interesting location there from the Moxies, but hey, he does make it out.
Yeah, Perilla channeling his inner sniper right there, going to fire off all his shots and make sure everything walks out clean and dandy there. The Papis still trying to find their warpath back in, but Moxies definitely are still in a seat to pull this game away and win it, as I do still have a commanding lead, about 4,000 here, and they get a catch onto the tank here. DavidArnaiz in a rough spot here. He drops his Cataclysm inside the middle of a Whirlpool, but there's nobody else around. That's going to be a free pickup here, and right in front of Wlfy, the Papis need to respond, and Moxies are well aware of it. They're looking for some kind of engagement right now, but well, the Papis aren't going to be giving it to them until they get the full pressure here. Fog going to be creeping on in for the Papis here as the Moxies will just secure everything they can. They're going to back away from the Gold Fury, knowing it's not a safe call right now, but seeing their ward cleared out, they're going to start looking for any kind of trouble the Papis may want to bring.
Definitely, so it's interesting, to say the least, what all they have open to them, both teams, quite frankly, because the Papis have some options available. Looks like they're actually going to try and go for a Gold Fury rush here really quickly.
Ooh, they can do it.
And they have the damage, they can blow it up. And so you've got 5-6 minions in some form all going after it, and it's gone.
It just gets bursted down so fast, but they could find a big fight here as Ducky leaps on him. He's gotten Athena joining the party, but unfortunately Brutalized not going to carry Athena with him. But FleuryQ still going to get shredded, well, still going to shred through DavidArnaiz's health bar. But a Gold Fury for a single death, that's not worth too much loss right there. But this tower is going to be huge here. Papis need to defend here, but the Moxies going to put up so much siege damage. They're not going to be able to get the taunt though, but it doesn't matter. They got the tower. They're going to keep pushing on forward and put out bits of damage here and there, but luckily Warchi putting out plenty of healing for his team to just push them through the pressure. And unfortunately, Moxies can't siege on up, but they can definitely threaten kills instead of sieging.
Yeah, definitely. This is very, very close, and I'm really liking this. 13-7, definitely scorelines implying in favor of the Moxies. And again, charts though, only 3,000 gold, 6 to 7,000 XP is a bit on the difficult side, but if anybody can come back, it's probably the Papis. Their biggest concern is that they need to understand that they are in fact behind. If they play like they're even or ahead, they will lose this game. However, the Papis have shown that with a little bit of that tenacity, they can still fight back. With it, just, you know what? No, we're gonna fight you, and we're going to make you like it. The problem is that they've taken 0 towers, and they've lost all of their tier 1s, which means that they can't be super aggressive unless they are a ball of death. And at the same time, they're behind in certain areas for leveling. They're ahead in others, but overall behind. So,
I mean, we also bring this up from time to time, Target. These tier 1 towers at this point in the game are essentially free bank loans. Like, you just walk up to them, you knock them down, and you take all the money standing in there. And
maybe duos towers a little bit difficult, but I do agree. Those half-health towers in the mid and solo,
yeah,
definitely not worth a whole lot, but at the same time, it's enough.
Oh, but the flank, though, from FleuryQ. This might be the big fight that the Moxies need to turn this game completely head over heels here. Ultimate coming through from Neith, right on the AlexMC, blocked by DavidArnaiz, but Skyborn go the Papis. A quick shot from Perilla on his sniper surge will take out Ducky, as DavidArnaiz looking to find a way in here. He's caught in the middle of a whirlpool though, gonna get bursted by FleuryQ right there. However, the Papis still on the aggressive side. They're almost all at full health. Dheylo leaping on forward, drops the cats onto JacobHL right there. He's gonna get taken down to about a quarter of his health left as they want to go for this tower right here. There's no way the Moxies can defend it, and just like that, the Papis strike back with a kill. However, Moxies gonna answer right back as well. Both these teams going blow for blow in every recent fight, and this game is bloodying everybody, it seems.
It definitely is. Now, the thing here, the question is, could the Moxies sneak the Fire Giant here? The answer is no, in my opinion. They don't quite have enough damage. They don't have enough tankiness here.
It'd be a super risky play. They're gonna go for it. They're gonna go for it.
All right.
I mean, this is a really risky play, but they can do it here.
Bait.
The Papis are aware. But yeah, it is a good bait here. Papis, however, not going to take this one out, as I'm getting a tiny bit of lag on my spectator end. Has gone away now, but hopefully this isn't too much. Zigox still starting this one up. They're trying to split this fight up here. We're gonna see a teleport in. The bait was a bait for an actual fight here, so this is baitception going on. The Papis, they know what's happening, but unfortunately they're a bit late to this one. They need to find some way in, and Jacob doing a great job of zoning. However, this Fire Giant getting towards that low level. This is becoming the 50-50 fight. You know what? Kraken going out, but Moxies get the Fire Giant. That's going to be huge in this fight, but can they get away with murder here? Warchi takes out Zigox in the fight, and now they're looking for more. Ducky does grab a Ragnarok, but only brings his team closer to death. Warchi finds his double. Now we'll get the healing going as JacobHL crashes back into place. Perilla looking to put the sniper shots down. He finds the long-range shot and takes up the fight. Now the Papis will take everyone down and put them in their graves in return for a Fire Giant. Things just got messy, and the risky Fire Giant just blew up in the Moxies' faces right now.
3 for 1. 2 members of Moxie still do have Fire Giant. They are the support and the mid laner. So a lot of damage coming out from Poseidon. Poseidon certainly can make good usage of that. And Athena, it'll help her as well in terms of kiting and just giving her a bit of a boost. But the Papis, the end of that fight is huge. That XP experience difference is now down to 2,700 because of how much they were able to get off of those kills, and that gold difference is down to 80.
Like, it's been a massive swing back, and like you said, Target, if they made it to the late game, or if Moxies made an unfortunately disastrous call right there, we said it was risky, but it looked like it had a chance to work. Unfortunately, the zoning didn't work, and the Papis just broke on through. They needed to make some form of commitment. They needed to either turn and burn or find some other kind of zoning there, as it just wasn't quite enough. They needed some form of damage or block to dissuade them, and the Athena just wasn't enough, especially once Gab got that rollout ticking on. And with the cleanse from Warchi, it's so hard to just leverage CC as your only way of zoning. Now Papis set up for a Gold Fury here. They need this. If they get this, this will cement a lead, which is exactly what they need right now. This is going to make it hard for the Moxies, but a Blink Taunt coming through, Kraken's coming up, but it's pulled out of the center by the Papis right there. It's ticking on, but the Moxies get it off the back of a Whirlpool tick right there. That's going to be the Moxies walking away with the Gold Fury and pulling back an advantage. They still got Fire Giant ticking onto 2 right there, so all in all, the Moxies striking back and striking back hard.
Definitely, and this is, again, that's the concern, is that the Papis have been unable to do these Gold Furies without getting... Oh, beautiful...
Holy Cataclysm! Finding 4 in the back of this fight. This could be huge as Warchi's gone deep, but at the same time, there's a deep fight around Dheylo as well. But he's going to break off as he'll try to head back and feel for his team. Ducky taking so low. Perla goes skyboard. Can he keep up his trend of hitting all the sniper shots? The lifesteal from Ducky might be enough as the fight continues in the middle. Whirlpool catching onto 3 as Warchi's so low. He's got to stay back and heal up a little bit as Perla also looking to find a way out of here. Both teams going to disengage with no death here, surprisingly, and that... I'm surprised nobody died there, Tark.
I am fairly surprised too, but again, they did a good job of trying to focus somebody, and Warchi's build is beautiful. I love the way that he decided to go here. He said, look, I'm not going to be able to stack, I'm not going to be able to sit in lane and totally farm. Give me that Ethereal Staff. Ethereal Staff makes him a little bit tankier, and then he goes into Lotus Crown. He is a completely support hell. The problem is that there's no such thing as completely support hell. He still is 3, 4, and 2, because, well, hell still does a load of damage. And because of that, you're able to do exactly that, where, sure, the heal doesn't apply to himself. He can't heal himself when he's been ulted by Neith, or excuse me, not Neith, Serqet, but Hell can still heal her teammates while healing. Fun fact. Even though she herself can't heal. And, more importantly, the Lotus Crown still does apply, because it's considered a heal, even though it's 100% reduction from that ultimate. Dheylo in some trouble, forced to beads, but will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, the poor thing here is there's no good target for FleuryQ to ulti in these fights, unless he can get a catch onto Perilla, who's been proving difficult to find a way onto in these fights. He's always got his trigger finger on that ultimate. Yeah, he's sitting back very far, he's waiting for most of CC to be blown, he's keeping a very, very close eye on FleuryQ so far, as well as the rest of the Papis, and they just haven't let him get anywhere near Perla in these fights. That's been working wonders for them. Aside from that one fight very, very early on in the game, where FleuryQ almost secured the kill, but it was actually a quick trident shot from Wlfy right there. This game is just going to get closer and closer, I feel, the further this game goes, though.
Like I said, the problem here is we're starting to hit 20. We have one level 20 on Poseidon, on Wlfy. We've got a level 19 and 2 18s, and make that now a level 20 and 2 18s on the side of the Papis. And again, we're coming down to late game. There's no item difference right now. Slightly actually in favor of the Papis somehow, even though they're 2,000 gold behind. So this is huge. This is a very big deal. The Papis have been allowed to make it to the late game, and unless the Moxies can, in Poseidon and Serqet, blow you up. We've seen these last 2 team fights where the Papis aren't full build enough that they can kill you, but the Moxies are running out of gas.
I mean, it's no longer the uphill struggle that it was for the Papis, but Moxies still in a position to really bloody the Papis here, so Moxies need to find some way to get into these fights, take somebody out, and completely burst somebody down. The problem is, like I said, there are no good targets on the side of the Papis. They need to find some way to break the barrier that is the front line, being healed up, protected by a hell, and then somehow rip Perilla apart. Despite the healing and protections he is also getting from that hell on Warchi, they've got to do something about it. Some kind of extra anti-healing. They've got a Divine Ruin now. They've got a Creeping Curse. Is it going to be enough, though, if they can't consistently get to Perilla in these fights?
I like the Pestilence that I'm assuming we're seeing out of the Athena, although, quite frankly, the Silver's Talisman, as it is, not bad for numbers, and a Bulwark of Hope, also not bad. However, JacobHL hasn't died yet this game. He is 2-0-12. JacobHL with a, quote, perfect last game went 0-0-13. This game going 2-0-12. You know, being involved, very important. In ult 1. Oh, we're going in on 2-1. However, Bastet just going to leap on right out. That kitty cat is not afraid, as she does just beads away. 90 seconds until that comes out. And now the question comes of who flinches first at the Fire Giant, and secondly, are we going to see a repeat of Moxies get the objective, Papis get the kills, or maybe a reverse, or maybe one team gets both? Because all of these are realities that can very easily occur.
Yeah, all of these are realities that can very easily occur, but if the Papis manage to get a Fire Giant and the kills as well, that's going to be a complete disaster for the Moxies right now, so they've got to play it incredibly safe. There we get that nice little warning of that SPL game starting on our screens, it seems. But, well, we're in the here and now as this game isn't going to get any easier for either side, except for the Papis, who, if they can hold out, this game's going to get to that late game territory, like you said, Target, and it's going to be so rough for the Moxies here. Now, but the Papis playing this so safe right now.
Yeah, now I do want to clarify, you know, the Moxies can still win this. It's very even. But in terms of late game, I feel like the Papis have more damage and more survivability late game, just in pure of the raw numbers. Even though, sure, oh, actually, this might be the engagement they needed. They went on to one Warchi control as well. Dheylo running. Warchi very low. Warchi can't even survive on the top side. He might actually be able to do it, but Dheylo bottom.
That cleanse was so incredible from Warchi right there, but FleuryQ actually going to find the kill. Also, a quick tap in from DavidArnaiz, who will buy a bit of safety here, but it looks like the Moxies got the kill they wanted. However, they're so low, and they can't actually fight this Fire Giant right now. They're going to try to start it up, but it will be a 4 versus 4 for the time being. They're a little bit afraid of this one, as they know the Papis can come in at any time, so they're going to try to bait somebody out, catch somebody out of position, and just take it from there. They need to kill somebody else to get a safe and effective Fire Giant, or else they're really taking a massive risk. It's only Dheylo that's dead, and although it brings some major damage to these fights, he's not the main threat in these team fights that they need to be looking out for.
If you look at the Bastet build, he's not. He's Jotuns for pen and cooldown, Transcendence for mana and power, and then a Mail of Renewal for survivability. And I like it, but that's not a whole lot of damage, so you need to be killing other people. Sure, very good kill of opportunity, but you need to be focusing on the Warchi or the Perla or the TheAlexMC. Not really the David or the Dheylo, to be perfectly honest.
You also don't want to be blink taunting onto DavidArnaiz in fights like these, and the Moxies just got completely stalled out by the Papis here. Now DavidArnaiz trying to find a way into this fight, and I have to say, Warchi's cleanses have been absolutely insane today. And he had an incredible cleanse that saved his life versus the Fenrir. As the Ragnarok came through, he used a delay on it to save himself. He had another incredible cleanse there that actually prevented any kind of kill there from the Moxies right there on himself once again. And really, the Moxies, they may have the lead, but this is dangerous. But a great taunt there from JacobHL will do wonders. However, the flank coming through from the Papis, they've also got the rest of the team alive and kicking. And once again, they'll clash and they'll back off immediately as both teams testing each other for tension. But neither side willing to give.
Off, but especially when they
it's not sticking.
Ultimate. Luckily, hang on. Is this happening? Is this real? Papis, are you doing
It could be happening. They're trying to start this one up here. It could be a full-on bait. It looks like it is. They're going to commit entirely to Zigox right there. Zigox needs to back out, but JacobHL finds a way into the fight, as we will see the Skyborn beginnings of New Wlfy, as well as Perilla. He's going to rain death from above, but only hits one of his 3 shots in there. But Ducky taken low enough by them that it doesn't quite matter. DavidArnaiz going to be split up by the Whirlpool here, but they've sent Moxies back. They're 5 strong. They're 5 healthy. The Papis ready to engage on the Fire Giant right now, but the Moxies still got plenty of Moxie here to fight. So now, Warchi, however, going crazy on FleuryQ right there, forcing in the Athena. They're going to need to commit to something right here as Ducky coming from the backside. He's out of position here. He'll be forced to leap away as JacobHL abusing that tankiness, and everybody is so tanky this game. But Ducky finally might get shredded down. A quick shot from Perla will take him down with a crit, and there we go. Ducky has fallen. There's finally 2 down at once, so this Fire Giant should be securable here, but the Moxies, they're not going to give this one up without a fight. They know what's happening. The potential for a steal is there because they both have plenty of damage, plenty of ways in. Wlfy has the Kraken, but they're going to turn on him immediately. They've been baiting them in one by one. The Kraken comes out, but it's not enough as Warchi gets the kill. And it looks like this is the Papis ball game now. They go back to the Fire Giant, and I think the Moxies have to give this one up unless JacobHL can pull off a miracle play. He wants to go for it, and so does FleuryQ. He's going to hang around in the wings, though. It's so low. He's charging up that charge right there, but it's dying fast. He can't find a way in. He's going to run away as the Papis finally get the Fire Giant, and just like that, this game is dead even at 31 minutes, but the Papis They've got the late game. They've got the Fire Giant, and Moxies are in dire straits now.
This is why if you don't pick an Odin, you need to ban out Hell. You know, we've seen her not be played today because people have forgotten how to play her. Understandable. You know, banned or just hasn't been good for a very long time. But right now, Hell is so strong. We're 31 minutes into the game. Hell is now 5 slotted. She can sell that Vampiric Shroud for anything she wants. Right now, she's pure, I wouldn't say pure support, but darn near it. She's got Rod of the Asclepius, meaning that she's now doing 120% healing. She's got a Lotus Crown, again, healing, physical protection, MP5, great, just what Hell needs, more MP5. Seeing as, you know, her light stance gives her 30 MP5 anyways, the woman will never, I mean, Hell does not need to back. If there was some form of courier that Warchi could use, he could stay on the map forever. But he needs to back away.
Don't talk about that one, Dark.
No, I don't.
I mean, I gotta make one pun at least
fine,
this entire tournament.
That's fine.
I mean, I've gone the whole one without doing one target just for you. Especially after your last weekend of, last weekend's Pun Fest that you had to experience.
But
it was fun.
Anyways, 32 minutes in, 16 to 14 now. However, the Papis have the gold lead. Experience difference does not really matter.
Yeah, the experience difference means almost absolutely nothing at that point. They've hit that critical mass of almost everybody that matters being level 20. The only ones who aren't there are, well, the jungler and Ducky, Ducky has become that stun bot at this point, especially with his build, playing a very supporty Fenrir, and really, everybody who matters is at some point in their build where they're dead even. They're dead even on levels. This is a game going to be decided by scaling and skill here, and well, so far Papis have the scaling on their side, and even a great taunt from JacobHL. This could be the setup that Neith Curse goes through to try to buy time. But Warchi just not dying. The shield is good. He gets out, but he's going to heal himself just in time as Alex does secure the first kill of the fight onto Ducky. And now they're on the run to Warchi, surviving on fumes, and he's going to keep on ticking. He gets the heals going. Zigox on the run, but he could fall. A quick leap in from Dheylo will secure the kill on the Zigox right there. And now the Pop is going to cruise on through, and all that commitment for nothing onto Warchi right there. This is the fight that Papis wanted. This is the fight they needed. Unfortunately, the time bomb has gone off for the Moxies, and they are out of time, it seems.
Indeed they are, as the Moxies are, well, their Titan is falling very, very quickly. You have one member trying to help JacobHL, and he's getting blown up. He has to get out of there. Titan falling very, very quickly now, sitting at 5,000 and, 3,000 and continuing to fall, now down to 2. Beads are used by Perilla just to stop that that's Serqet ultimate, but it was not enough. 16-16 was the final score, dead even. Papis ahead, however, by 15,000 in the gold department, and that's really all they needed was a Phoenix and a Tower and a Titan.
I mean, like you said, Target, they had to just wait out to that late game play, and well, we're going to see a really interesting matchup going to the finals. We already have the lower side semi decided as well. It's going to be the Papis facing off against Team Instinct here, but let's talk about the now while we're here, because I'm pretty sure everyone wants to see the Game Hunter versus the Papis play right here. Is Warchi, despite the fact that they shut him down early on in the game, Moxie did an incredible job early on in the game. They shut down Warchi, they kept the heavy-duty targets out of the fight, and although Dheylo was able to pick up a few kills here, and they kept Perilla low in the landing phase, they still found the kills where it mattered. They got Perilla nice and fed, where he's able to keep everybody away at an arm's length. He could get the slows out, and they couldn't stop him. Then Dheylo did his job. He carried his way through the mid-game and just became that immovable barrier and major annoyance in the late-game fights, using his cats for body blocking. And with a mixture of all these facts, especially some incredible shit from DavidArnaiz, the Papis managed to pull out that late-game victory by stalling incredibly hard, just because there was no way for the Moxies to find a way to crack the shell. And, well, unfortunately, like you said, Target, they had difficulties cracking the shell in the last game because it was a 25-minute game, and that punished them here.
Yeah, no, it really did. And again, I loved the early game potential and everything else, but the problem was is they weren't able to complete it before 25 minutes. And then at that point, the Papis were able to roll into late game mode, and late game mode prevailed. And you know, great job from both teams. There was some good focus, but when you don't have the damage, you just can't get the kills. And I know that's a really, really bad saying. I'm sure we'll come up with something better later, but you know, good game. You know, they're not out of it.
That saying.
You're top four. They're top four. Yes, I maddened that saying quite well. That's what it was. So Team Bizarre will be playing the Moxies in the bronze match, third place. And fourth place, still worth points. Still very much worth points. But the Papis are guaranteed second this week. And Redemption, as they were seeded 12th from last week, being knocked out in the round of 16, I do believe. So, again, like I said, lot of things to consider, a lot of redemption stories here even. But that said, Papis up against Team Instinct in the finals. This is a best of 3 because we did not break into a full round of 64. So we got a lot more action, so we'll be right back in just a few minutes with game number 1 of the finals between the Papis and Team Instinct. Don't go anywhere.